Hi everyone, this is a short video on solving radical equations part 2. This is just a second example for you that's a little more complicated than the first. So if you did not yet watch the first recording, please go back and do so. So what we're going to start with here today is you're going to notice this time we have two square root symbols. So before I start, I do need to get the bigger square root symbol by itself on one side. So I'm going to move that square root of x to the other side. So I'm going to get square root of 2x minus 2 equals 1 plus the square root of x. Then what we talked about in the first recording is that the way that I get rid of a square root symbol is by squaring it. That's the opposite. So if I square one side, I do have to square the other side. But the question becomes, how do you square the other whole side? You have to put it in parentheses. So on the left-hand side, my square root symbol and my square cancel each other out, so I'm going to be left with 2x minus 2. Then on the right-hand side, what that really says is this, just like that. So what we have to do on the right-hand side to finish solving is I have to FOIL that. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times root x is 1 root x. Root x times 1 is 1 root x. And then root x times root x, since they're both inside the radical, I'm going to do x times x, which is x squared. So let's simplify this right-hand side a little bit. 1 root x plus 1 root x is 2 root x. And then x, the square root of x squared, the square root and the square are going to cancel each other out again. So I'm going to be left with this. So at this point, we have to ask ourselves, how am I going to solve that? I still have a square root going on in my problem. So what we want to do is we want to get this square root portion by itself. So I'm going to move the 1 to the other side, and I'm going to move the x to the other side. So now I will be left with x minus 3 equals 2 root x. So here's where we're at so far. So now we ask ourselves again, how do I get rid of a square root? And it's by squaring it. So let's move on to a new slide. And so I'm at x minus 3 equals 2 root x. So I'm going to square root the right-hand side. Square the right-hand side. Whatever you do to one side, we do to the other side. So on the left, I'll have x minus 3 times x minus 3. And on the right, 2 squared is 4. And the square root of x squared is just going to give me x. So again, our whole purpose in squaring a square root is to get it to go away. It cancels. It's the opposite. Like we talked about earlier, if I have 2x equals 10, I divide by 2 because that's the opposite of what we see. So what's the opposite of a square root? Squaring it. So on the right-hand side, I have a FOIL problem because I have 2 terms times 2 terms. And on the left-hand side, I just have my 4x. So let's simplify this just a little bit. Let's move my 4x to the other side. Because when we're solving radical problems and it turns out to be an x squared problem, that means it's a quadratic equation because of that 2 right there, the x squared. And how do we solve an x squared problem? We do have to factor it. So I need 2 numbers. Let me grab my pointer tool. 2 numbers that multiply to 9 but add to a negative 10. You might want to use the magic diamond, or you might have another method for factoring. So 2 numbers that multiply to a positive 9 but add to a negative 10 are negative 9 and negative 1. Those are my factors. Your solutions are where you set that equal to 0 and solve. So it would be a 9 and a 1 are my solutions. But again, just like in the last recording, I'm going to put a little question mark over it. We don't know for sure which ones are my solutions until I plug them back into my original problem and try them. Because in this unit, you might get quite a few extraneous solutions. Extraneous means that they are extra. So by the time we try them, you are going to find out that 1 is extraneous and it doesn't work, but 9 does work. So your final answer would be 9. Make sure you plug them back into the original and try them both out. Hope this was helpful. Thanks, guys.